What's up, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Robbie Williams, and we're returning to the In and Out of Consciousness Greatest Hits compilation. Thank you again to Michaela, not only for sending this 2-disc compilation, but actually for arranging the singles on here, or the tunes on here, in chronological order in terms of when they were released, which is not how the actual compilation does it itself. So again, double thank you to Michaela. And I did notice that a lot of people, were not overly fond of Robbie Williams covering George Michael's Freedom. And look, I'm a big fan of George Michael. I mean, I knew him going back to my youth, but in recent times I've become a notable fan. And I get it, it's, George's voice on that tune and pretty much any other tune by George. So I get why some people may have said, why do you, leave it alone? It's a tune where people are always going to be, really keen to, point out the differences between the original and the cover and so on. But again, I like that song, and I don't hold it against any artist for wanting to cover a song that is itself in the original quite compelling. Nevertheless, I'm keen to hear more of Robbie's material, and especially now that I've done a watch-along for a full, Take That concert after Robbie came back into the group, and, there was a section of the concert where he kind of took over, and it was all sort of Robbie Williams solo material. So I have a sense of his, showmanship and his, stage persona and so on. So I have more of a sense of who I'm listening to, even if it's still, of course, incomplete and limited. But going into the rest of the songs on this compilation, I now have a slightly better sense of what I'm dealing with. So, in any case, the next tune, in chronological order that is, on the compilation, is Old Before I Die, which, I suppose it's what everyone should be. Obviously, not everyone gets that, meaning some people do die very young. But if people are old before they die, it suggests they've lived some manner of a full life, or at least a lengthy life, and thus they have gone through different phases of the life journey, reaching some elderly state. Now, of course, you can be old mentally and not necessarily physically. You can feel old in your 30s, say, because you're no longer a teen, you're no longer in your 20s. But as someone who is now in their mid-40s, I can tell you, to be 32 again, when maybe at the time when I turned 32, it's man, I'm old now. So old, I think, is also somewhat subjective, even if there is maybe an objective or more technical meaning for it. But yes, I wonder what the larger context of this phrase is. So let's see what I can pick up on a first listen. This is Robbie Williams. The tune is Old Before I Die, and it's included on his Greatest Hits compilation, In and Out of Consciousness.
I should never have been. She's showing me faces I should never have seen. Well, these are strange days we're living in today. C'est la vie, I say. I hope I'm old before I die. I hope I live to relive the days gone by. I hope I'm old before I die. Well, tonight I'm gonna live for today, so come along for the ride. These are strange days we're living in today. C'est la vie, I say, I say, I say. I hope I'm born before I die. I hope I live to hear the days gone by. I hope I'm born before I die. Well, tonight I'm gonna live for today, so come along for the ride. I hope I'm old before I die. I hope I'm old before I die. Old before I die. Die, die, die. Old before I die.
I like that, and like sonically, it's interesting because it's not a ballad, it's not heavy and slow, but it's not like crazy energetic either. It's sort of in a middle range, and it almost had this like reflective quality, even though it did have some, you know, kick and drive to it. Secondarily, I think part of my thoughts in advance about the title were apropos to the lyrics, the idea of when you come to die wanting to have lived. What's that? Is it Thoreau? When I come to die, I hope to not to discover that I had not yet lived. So yeah, it feels like that is kind of the sentiment, the idea of, you know, wanting to have experienced things and, you know, gone on a longer journey. But he's also saying, like, at least for tonight though, like in the now, I'm gonna live for tonight. So there's still a desire to be in the moment and to maybe not worry too much about consequences and long-term trajectory, but also saying at the same time that, you know, like, come with me on this journey, like tonight, but also, you know, I hope that we will be long-lived, long-lived, whichever version you prefer. There's some debate about that. But yes, when it comes time to die, to have lived and to have lived for a while and gone through experiences and, you know, had connections and so on. So it does feel like there's a lot of that happening. Now, maybe there's some more specific elements to this, but that seems to be the overall gist. And again, with a bit of internal tension, the idea of like wanting to be in the moment and to, you know, maybe throw caution to the wind a little bit, but still to, you know, be thinking about the longer journey. And yeah, I enjoy his vocals, couple extensions, couple moments where he gets a bit more, you know, fiery in the delivery, though again, not crazy, not like belting big and, you know, sort of like really raspy, but definitely with a bit of variety, a bit of a dynamic vocal performance, and, you know, sort of like a pop rock sound is, I guess, how I describe the Sonics overall. So yeah, a really cool tune, and one where, again, as I hear him sing, now I have more of a visual, and I am keen to see, you know, the variety in his personal catalog. So once again, big shout out to Michaela. There's a lot of songs on this double CD compilation, so we have a lot to go through, and I will be doing this, of course, in conjunction with the Take That deep dive, which still is in the very early phases. Michaela has made available a great many CDs in physical form and also some other material that I have in digital form, so plenty more to go. Let me know what you think, and I will see you for the next one. Peace.